Yeah, I mean, the first thing I realized when I got to rehab is that I really liked rehab. I was, not everybody does, but for
Yeah.
me, it was like, I was kind of I was putting a lot of pressure on myself with work and with,
Yeah.
other responsibilities and kind of being in that place where I could just focus on me and learn some things
Mhm.
I'd never been told before. Like we don't teach cognitive behavioral therapy in high school or college or grad school.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we don't learn these things. And it's like this whole new world of like learning about self and learning how to deal with problems. And it's like, oh man, there's actually like ways to do this better than what
Hmm.
I've been doing. And so I think that was my first realization, when I went to rehab, is I was like, okay, there's a lot for me here. I don't know how it's all going
Yeah.
to work. I don't know, but I got some hope pretty early on. And then that hope built. And I relapsed after that. I had to go back for round two, but that was a lot easier than the first time, for me to go back because I knew that that help existed. I
Hmm.
knew that it could get better. Even though I was still doing it wrong, I knew that it could get better. And so, to this day, now if I'm struggling, I'm like, oh, well, at least I know in the back of my head that like better exists. And so that was kind of the journey for me. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. If it was a different way of thinking and I had to be open to that. But I think at that point I was open to anything. I had the
Right.
gift of
Right.
desperation as we talk about in the rooms.
Yeah, man, amen to that. Yeah. And when we think about just the fact that like it does get a little bit easier, even if we feel like we're going backwards, that I think that's powerful, to put that in there and let people know that like, hey, just because you relapse don't mean it's the end, it's end game. You know what the options are, you know where to find the help, pick up that phone, walk into that clinic, whatever you have to do, to continue moving forward. Because I like to describe our progress as like the stock market, So one day we're down, but the next we might be up, and we can stay consistent, but like we're continually to climb that chart.
Somebody was telling me one time in rehab, and I wish I remembered what language this was, but in some language, the word for relapse is something that kind of loosely translates to convincer, you know?
Yeah.
And so sometimes, that event is needed to convince us that, like, no, I really do need to do things differently. Like,
Hmm.
I stand for what you stand for. I'm at your door like the landlord. I can see the future, yeah, I fast forward. I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me, I'm in rare form. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid.